Tom is a great fighter. He's a very strong fighter. He's very good at his stand-up. He's very good on the ground. So Saturday we got to fight. The octagon is going to close behind us, and we'll see.
Sergei Pavlovich, welcome to TNT Sports. Welcome to New York. How are you?
Thank you. I feel great. Everything's good. I'm in a great mood, and everything's great.
You've flown in today. You've literally got in today from Florida. How long were you out there for? You did your entire camp here in the US?
Yes, I just flew in today from Florida. I've been in Florida for a while now, even for my camp for Curtis Blades. And from that time, I was already in Florida. So for the past couple of camps, Florida's been where I'm at. The whole camp was there.
Your performances inside the octagon have spoken for themselves, and you've been dubbed by many fans the scariest guy in the UFC. But I'm sitting in front of you now. You don't look like a scary guy. You look like a friendly guy.
I think the first and the main thing for a man is to speak less and do more, and our actions should speak louder than our words.
Nice. Well, your actions have certainly been speaking in volumes inside the UFC, this 6-fight run of knockouts. But can I take you back to your first fight and the loss to Alistair Overeem and what that meant for you? Because since that moment, you've terrorized the division.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any excuses. A loss is a loss. And we're talking about a fight was in China. I flew in there 4 days before the fight. And by the third day I was in China, I was feeling good. But by the time I got into the octagon, that's when it all hit me. And so from that on, what I got is that you have to be professional about fighting. If you're fighting in a different country or a different region, you have to get there with enough time to make sure that you're not hit with this acclimatization period. So what it taught me is just to make sure to stay professional and come to every fight professionally. I think you can call it that. I never experienced such a thing, so I think from then on I decided to start approaching fights in a professional manner.
That's interesting that you yourself look back on that moment when you kind of made a conscious decision. If I want to succeed, if I want to go on and become UFC champion, I've got to approach the sport in a different way.
Yes, it's exactly what you're saying. You know, professionalism is in everything. It's not necessarily. I can't tell you that I wasn't approaching the fight unprofessionally when it came to camp or training. I still was working really hard. I was working hard preparing for the fight. But the fact is, I realized that this is my job. This is something that I do on a daily. This is something that I make my living as, and so I have to approach every aspect of this job a certain way. So basically, just looking at things more professional, well-rounded on all aspects of the fight.
What stage of your life, Sergei, did you fall in love with fighting? When did you first realize that you had a knack for fighting? When was the first time you knocked somebody out and felt that adrenaline rush and consciously made that decision to pursue a career in the sport?
Yeah, you know, I've said it before in interviews that even when I was a younger kid, I used to buy DVDs of, you know, first, second, you know, whatever tournaments of the UFC that were already available on DVDs. And then, you know, if you look at my childhood, I grew up in a smaller town, more like a village, where, you know, if you wanted to show that you were right, if you wanted to defend your honor, you had to do it with fists. There was no other way to do it. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily in a bad way. It's just that you could have had a fight with somebody, won, and then be best friends after that, you know, for a long time. And, you know, I always told people, even at school growing up, I told them, watch, I'm going to be in the UFC one day. And then, you know, one day I went to the Army, and after the Army, I used to tell people, watch, I'm going to be in the UFC one day. And I gave my entire self to the sport. I gave my entire self to preparation to be in the UFC one day. And now I'm calling these guys, we talk on the phone, and they tell me, hey, man, I remember when you used to say that you were going to be in the UFC, and now look where you are now. So it's something that's been a life journey, and it's something that I've prepared myself for the entire life.
The global appeal for you over the last 12 months has absolutely exploded. And I think a big reason behind that is, with some fighters, they will resonate with certain pockets of fans, whether they've got strong jiu-jitsu, whether they've got strong wrestling. Because you hit people in the face and they stay hit and they go down and they stay down, and everybody in the world understands what that means. That means knockout. Your fan base is on a global scale. Do you feel that? Do you enjoy that? Does that come with any kind of pressure? And also, one final question on this. What does it feel like to you to knock somebody out? How does that make you feel?
You know, when it comes to knockout power, I first discovered this maybe on the street when I was younger, when, you know, I would hit someone and they would go down, and I realized that, you know, I possess a certain type of power in my hands, but I always respected it, and I made sure that even through my amateur career and everything, I would work really, really hard to make sure that I sharpen my skills, to stay disciplined. It was never power just for the matter of knocking people out. It was skills, right? So I had to add the skills to the power. When you knock somebody out and they go down, you're happy about it, but you can never plan a knockout. I always say that you cannot plan for a knockout. It happens unexpectedly. Once it happens and you see somebody go down, of course you're happy about that. It's a great feeling.
You're fighting Tom Aspinall on Saturday night, the interim UFC heavyweight title. First question, you were originally backup anyway. You were in camp as backup for Jones and Miocic. Are you disappointed you're not fighting Stipe on Saturday?
Of course, it would have been great to fight one of the legends of the sport, whether it's John or Miocic, but the most important thing is the goal, and that's the belt.
Let's talk about Tom then and his strengths. You guys have got identical UFC records, 6 wins against 1 defeat. You've both got 6 finishes in there as well. Fans are saying the power's with you, the speed is with Tom. Where do you see it? I watched a video on your Instagram, and you're pretty fast.
Yeah, Tom is a great fighter. He's a very strong fighter. He's very good at his stand-up. He's very good on the ground. So, you know, I respect that. I respect his power. But the fact is, I'm not going to talk for myself. I think other people have to assess what my skills are, what my level of fighting is. So there's not too much to talk about. Saturday, we got to fight. The octagon's going to close behind us, and we'll see.
Do you think, though, because you've beaten more consistent, higher-ranked fighters, it's you giving Aspinall the opportunity rather than the other way around?
You know, right now, it doesn't really matter. Right now, we're on equal setups, right? We're going to both fight for the title. That's it.
You said earlier that it's been your dream for a long time, when you were a young man growing up, when you were in the army, that one day you would fight in the UFC. Now you are just one fight away, one win away from not only being in the UFC, but becoming a UFC champion. What does that mean to you?
I mean, the greatest feelings possible you can think about, that I have this opportunity now. I think that our life is made up of goals, right? Goals that you set for yourself and goals that you eventually achieve. It feels great to achieve specific goals. I have one goal, I reached it, another goal, next goal, third. And now I have all of my goals have come together to this one great goal of becoming a champion. And now I finally have the opportunity to do this. So I feel like my life was not wasted. I've done all these things to get to here, and now this is one last step.
Well, Sergei, great to meet you. Go well. Enjoy Saturday night, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I can officially tell fans as well that in real life, you're not a scary guy. Maybe Tom will meet the other guy.
We'll see in the cage.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.